Hello again, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. We are here for our Thursday game, and we have the whole contingent today. So
we got ready for a Thursday game, but we had to do it on Tuesday.
I did say Thursday, didn't I?
I don't know. We were all just gonna let it slide, and
I couldn't let it slide.
Yeah, fine, be that way. I've been watching a lot of Critical Role. Okay, go through that. Well, it's Thursday. Blah, 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 blah. So it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday today.
Are you so sorry. Let me do my intro. Welcome to another episode of Why We Love. No.
There we go. No, welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Beards Gone Wild. There you go. All right. So we are back for our Tuesday game. We are still playing Rise of the Runelords, and we are still going to see if these guys can do some diplomaticizing with some goblins. Because Miss Fisheye wants to be queen of the goblins, of the Birdcrunchers, is her tribe. Does anyone have any announcements or anything like that before we get on?
What idiot gave a goblin that idea?
Yeah.
Goblin alliances tend to work out well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. The kind of spot is spend our license trials and welcome to the smile. Okay. I like that. So, hey, we can't let this not get online. Why don't we not just, Mazus said,
it's online, though.
They call us.
We have the chat.
You do have it online.
Yeah.
We have the chat captured. Okay, so you can read it in the chat if you want to. Well, not the literal YouTube chat, but like something. So we are going to let you guys do that if you want to. Otherwise, we got the Facebook, we got the Twitter, we got the YouTube, and we got the webs. So all of those things are covered, all our social media, if you guys want to send a message to us. But if that's everything that we have, we're going to start the game. So when last we left our heroes, they were about to crawl into and had crawled into the Thistletop, aptly called because this area is kind of a natural maze of different bits of thistle and briars and gnarled trees all kind of scrunched up together so that the goblins here had made kind of like little rabbit runs. They can run back and forth and get to where they need to go through the Thistletop. Now, you guys know that this is going to be a bit of a tight squeeze because somebody that is not of a goblin height is going to have to hunch down, and someone that is of large, you guys would have to practically crawl. So it's going to be somewhat difficult going through. You won't be at your prime, but that's okay because you guys are you guys, and Magpie is amazing. So you guys have found yourselves in here.
Mazus, ask us if we will run into her enemies or her friends first.
All right. Fisheye, do you know where your allies are stationed? More specifically, if they are closer to us than the other goblins are.
What is station? Are they close? They're close? Yes.
Who will we run into first?
Probably Birdcrunchers. Birdcrunchers. This way. Come. This way.
Are you sure?
She toddles off.
I'm going to follow just because I'm concerned and curious.
Well,
Now, what'd she say?
well, she said that she were most certain that it would be Birdcrunchers, but something tells me that she's not completely sure.
So, should we strike first or hold off until they strike first?
Fisheye, how would I, as an non-tribesman of your tribe, identify a Birdcruncher from a Thistletop goblin?
What you mean? We look different. See? We look different.
She just kind of.
When you
Take
point
a
at
few notes.
yourself and nothing else, there's really nothing I can differentiate it with. Sorry.
What is different in the mate?
Never mind. You don't carry any emblems or special clothing or anything.
I have feathers from birds.
Feathers.
We're birdcrushers.
Does she have feathers on?
She does.
Okay.
She has some feathers. You look on them, and there's some kind of dried gristle on some of them from where she just kind of pulled it off and stuck it on her, kind of stuck it in her belt or stuck it on her little bow strap thing, and she's tied it with some what you would assume to be sinew to her bow. I assume you guys are just yelling to her from over where you are, Mazus?
What?
You're just gonna yell?
Shien's got
Just yelling to
one
her?
for stuff.
Try not to yell too much.
Okay. Try not to yell too much. That's fine.
Well, Matthews, to get back to you. Apparently the bird crunchers are wearing feathers for the most part, and the Thistletop goblins shouldn't. But who can really be sure about that? I'd say we try and not to initiate a battle immediately, if possible.
Just to let you guys note, once you get to see one, that opens up into a wide bit of thistles where it's not quite as low here. You can stand it normally.
I'll stretch.
Okay, 21 for stealth from Shien, 24 perception from Magpie. So Magpie, standing back where you were, there's lots of thistles. Lots of tracks, too. So anybody wanting to make a roll for that, it would be probably, I would let someone do just a general perception, but it's more akin to survival. The stealth, Shien just kind of blends in with the shadows.
Yeah, I was just kind of making a joke because the last time I tried to sneak off, Shien spotted me. So.
Oh, well, you know where Shien is, but he doesn't know necessarily that you know. He doesn't necessarily know that you know, but you know that he knows that you possibly know. However you want to say that.
You don't know nothing.
I'm gonna try to identify some of the plants as I'm going through here, just for fun.
Okay, that'd be a knowledge nature.
Yeah, nope.
Maybe some black.
That looks like grass. Those look like thistles.
Looks like there's a
Those are
thistle.
briars.
Briars. You can't even tell if they're berry briars or not. You just know they're briars.
Okay, well that's better than nothing.
There you go.
And for sake of humor, I'm going to try to move quietly, which this is going to end well.
I'm sure it will.
Wah, wah.
Actually, you're not going to believe this.
It's a natural 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we were just talking
Which
about
makes
this.
it like a
We were just
Which makes
talking
it a
about this
10.
off camera.
New dice. Swear to God, new dice.
Use them up now.
Oh,
Use them up now.
if Gideon can be sneaky and he's moving, like disappearing, I guess Emmy will give it a shot.
-2.
Hey, it could have been worse.
Beg your pardon?
I don't think it could be worse. It is
Yeah.
literally a -2.
It's a
I have
negative number.
-4 to it, so it could have been a -3.
There, right side on everything.
Yep.
Right side.
You know,
We've got that result.
I probably tumble into some of the thistles a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, you need to make me a bit of a dexterity check if you're going to try and get close to the thistles.
Oh no, I was saying that was probably what happened for the failed stealth check.
Yeah, that's a negative number. She like actively made noise.
Yeah.
The thump, 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 thump.
She got
So-
caught in the... Ow, 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 ow.
So do you want me to do the...
No.
Just say
Check,
it
check.
happens. Non-lethal damage. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
1 point. There you go. One
1
point
point non-lethal
of being a
damage?
klutz.
There we go.
Amy kind
It
of
wasn't even a...
goes forward and she kind of, her dress gets caught and then she kind of goes, whoop, 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 and falls into the briars for a second. You hear a
Back
kind
and
of,
shakes his head.
Whoopsie daisy.
Magpie's way back there. He only saw it because of his perception.
Why do we fall down, Master Bruce?
What do we fall down?
I'll go
It's fallen. You know,
Maybe I'm
if that was
not
the
big
case,
enough
she
for
would have.
people.
If that was the case, she would have fell down a well, and it would be really ironic that the bird was telling that the canine, telling the group that the canine fell down the well. But I mean,
What's the
So
matter,
this
Squawk?
starts to open up here.
just right in here, it does come to a bit of a. Just right here at C1, it does kind of trail off a bit into a smaller portion as you're going through the air, through this portion right here. Simply because this seems to be cleared out for. You remember that the Thistletop group has, and the goblins in general during the raid had talked about Longshanks working with them. So this is probably a place where they could bring them in, and then they could go on to other spots too. But you reckon that there's probably going to be spots like this in the brambles?
Okay. But what do we have to do to get through the brambles?
You can follow the path.
Well, that works for me.
Magpie's falling way behind here.
Oh, yep. There we go. Didn't even realize we were on a grid.
Try
I was wondering.
Up and grabs Wayko.
And that's why players should always watch the table when they're at the game.
In his defense, this is way more difficult to figure out than a table.
That's true. I can give you all that.
Shien grabs
clarify-
Wayko by the collar and then pushes him into Gideon.
Like, Wayko's tongue just kind of goes like, blah! Otherwise, zero resistance.
Oh, so you throw him into the bush there? Because that's what that is.
I threw him into Gideon.
So I guess
Didn't like throw him, but just kind of pushed him into his arms.
don't lead.
Okay. Well, she is. Fisheye is. Well, to let you guys know, those green patchy areas are a bunch of brambles. They're where the path is not shrouded, and moving through those would probably be a problem. So, not impossible, just a problem. But that said,
Wait. No, we get your. Whoop.
Whoa.
she stretched her face out.
Wait. We go this way.
Rolling.
Ah,
Do
See
let
up
us
there, there's a
know
bit of-
when you see your allies.
Okay, we go. We can go now. You think they come? They will come? Yes. Tell them Fisheye is coming now.
Hops over here, kind of fiddles and looks at the barrier for a second, and then hop.
Come.
Shien takes a look at it, then looks at Magpie and rolled a 19 on an acrobatics check to do a handless.
You totally nail that. Just plant yourself nice and heavy. Unfortunately, you did it through some going onto the ceiling of some brambles. So roll reflex to not have to worry about that, if you would.
12.
Well, you get a little cuts on the back. 1 point of damage, nothing crazy. All right, so you come up in there. I guess everybody's just waiting for the map to get revealed, even though everybody can't see it.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
up there.
kinda.
do I have to acrobatics this barricade, or are we just showing off to each other?
Oh, he was showing off.
Showing off. But you do remember, you did see that he kind of cut his back a little bit going up on with the thorns. It didn't bother him, but a little blood on the side.
I'll just sort of try to climb over it as easily as possible.
Well, you're Marin. You got metal oven mitts on.
All right, fairly easy. You coming through, and it continues to wind a bit.
Are these elevation lines? Is that what that is?
Where?
I think.
There? No, that's just different different bits. They don't come up necessarily. The whole ground seems to be moving upward towards the tip of the cliff. So
Okay.
they're not like steps, but there is an upward motion to the
But
ground.
it is an elevation line.
Yeah. Something like natural elevation line.
Okay, cool.
Why are you so slow? We go. What?
I'm gonna follow over the barricade, but I'm just gonna like jump and dive through a hole in the brambles.
Okay.
I got 17 acrobatics for that.
You can totally do that. You notice that it's not nearly as graceful as Shien's.
Yeah, but I didn't get cut.
Yeah.
Mazus rolls his eye at him.
Where's Talker? Where's Mouth?
Oh, back there pondering.
Shien points.
She only speaks in Goblin, just so you know. She chatters at Shien and Gideon.
Wayko just kind of
Shien shrugs like,
Is there anything I have to roll to get over?
You don't have to roll. They were showing off.
Okay.
So
I was just hoping I wouldn't have to climb anything.
I was just gonna say, it's like, the strength of 5, right?
Yeah.
help, I can't get over this 2-foot wall.
She comes up to Mazus and
Mazus?
drags him forward. She drags you up there. So come.
Oh,
Wayko's disappearing again.
He's wandered off to the side and he's peeking down the other path curiously.
Okay. Peek down this way. There's some more. Looks like a more open spot. You may see a bit of an opening up here towards this way.
I was going to send my chicken ahead to scout, but I don't want my chicken to get eaten by goblins, so I'm just going to follow back and soup.
They are Birdcrunchers.
Yeah,
That's
right.
probably a good idea.
Come. Why are you back here?
She skitters back up.
Plus, it's going to end up. They're going to see.
Drags him up here.
well,
She keeps pulling you along.
I don't have to be in the front, you know.
Well,
Why? Because we have people for that.
what do you mean?
See the knuckleheads?
Knuckle huts. What does it mean? Dum-dums?
Sure. Dum-dums.
Does
You must be happy you're the only one that speaks Goblin.
Yep.
They're just goblining at each other, and every now and then they'll look back, and we're all just like, hello.
Just wave.
Buddy.
does your dum-dums?
If they're mine dum-dums.
Ah, Missy, you're a smart one. You big chief?
Oh. Not so big. Not yet.
What?
Why? Keeping a low profile.
What is profile?
Shien starts prodding you from behind.
Never mind, just take us to your allies.
Okay.
If we leave them alone together for too long, he's going to try to teach that thing the dialectic, and we're going to get nowhere.
Too long, and there might be a goblin-human romance.
Closest that gets to that is like half orcs or something.
Yeah,
Hey,
goblin.
goblins need love too.
The love tonight.
It is where you are.
All right.
Any references made by this group are the respective rights of their respective owners.
The following game is a fan-based parody. Any and all references made of everything go to everybody else but us.
If we get flagged for any instance of karaoke, I will be both insulted and flattered.
Simultaneously.
You sound far too much like Kevin Bolton.
Don't sing those Frank Sinatra songs. You're too good.
Dean Sinatra.
Dean Sinatra.
Now, I'm a huge fan of Michael Bolton, and you, with your name the exact same as his.
So
Yeah, very
she
bad.
says, Fisheye says,
Look here.
and what you see right there is that right there where it says C8, there seems to be a little setup of a watch post that you get the idea that if you'd have taken a C route, They might have been watching over to see if that was going to be happened, but unfortunately, there's not a single goblin at it. So,
Why is this post empty?
What? No one coming.
Huh. Alright.
Wayko's gonna pop a potion of mage armor. Look.
okay. So as you do that, Fisheye goes up to Mazus and says,
Okay, you're right here. Me go tell them you're here. Okay.
Alright. Where are you going? Which direction?
Birdcrunchers. They're just round the corner.
"You make me a perception check."
26.
7.
24
14.
again.
14.
16.
All right.
This was perception.
Mhm.
Critical fail.
Okay. Well,
All right.
Everybody-
Well, I pushed past you then.
everybody except Wayko, who is probably enamored talking to Henrietta at the moment about the various values of feathers and new ones from Magpie.
He is like a crazy chicken man, so that's okay.
The effects of oyster shell and eggshell thickness.
Yeah. Everybody else but him hears rather that you guys start to listen and you hear some in normal volume until you started listening for a second, and then almost simultaneously they kind of quiets out for a second and goes quieter. Mazus is. What was your perception again, Mazus? 7?
7.
Oh, well, you don't hear this anyway. I thought it was higher. I thought it was 17, not 7. You don't hear this either.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yes, so disappointed.
I have no idea what they're saying. Lovely.
Yep, no idea what they're
At that
saying.
moment, Henrietta makes Wayko laugh.
Mazus, did you hear that?
What?
I believe we're being watched. Otherwise, the trees are talking in Goblin or some sort of variant.
That would be very nasty, wouldn't it?
Fisheye looks at you both a little lost and just says,
Me go get Birdcrunchers.
And tell them who's boss.
Our boss. Your boss.
You boss.
Me, Colin. No, me boss. Me boss. Your boss. You're confused, Fisheye.
You are their boss.
Okay, me their boss.
You
Who are
are
you?
Thistletop boss.
Me Thistletop boss. Oh. Okay, me go tell him.
and she kind of toddles off into the place where you guys haven't quite looked yet. And well, Mazus you guys would have some semblance of a view, so I'll give you some of it.
All right, people. If this doesn't go as planned, there's probably a bunch of goblins that's gonna come rushing this way in a very short while.
So, sounds like fun.
Got you, got. Get on board, Kitsune.
Wayko holds up his bopping stick, and he's got a big old bopping smile. So this will work out.
Well, you hear the chittering come up to about normal levels, and it gets kind of Mazus is still over there.
Okay. Which direction is the chittering coming from?
I can hear them now, right?
In relation to us over there? Okay.
If you're paying attention, you can hear them that direction. Yes.
I would
No one's-
very much like to pay attention at this point.
Okay. Make me a different perception check then.
How about a
Sure.
6?
6. It's hard. The waves are kind of rushing. You know. I mean, it's just waves.
So close
up.
to the ocean, and
Yeah, and you just get kind of lost for a second. You try to listen, but you get kind of lost in the waves for a second as you. So you catch things like boss, proof, liar, stuff like that.
There's like a goblin word that sounds kind of like "bloy," and then you're about to hear it, but then a flock of birds fly overhead, and they're all going "bloy, bloy, bloy, bloy."
They're all saying mine, 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 mine. All right. So it goes on for 2-3 minutes. You guys want to do anything or let it happen?
well, we came here to see goblins, so I suppose I'm gonna let it happen for now.
Okay. So
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm going to take a peek around the corner and sort of,
you peek
because
around.
I'm impatient and want to know what's going on. I take a look to see if I can see what's going on.
Okay. So you see something along the lines of, and let me get them all where they need to be. You see something along the lines of, I don't know, maybe that many goblins in there.
That's a lot of goblins.
No,
That's a lot of goblins. I'm just going to,
And they
wave
don't seem to be
and
they don't
back
seem to be
away.
surprised by you or anything. They just look at you and then start chattering back at
Just going to wave diplomatically and back away.
and they go. So they don't seem to actively attack you, but they do have arrows strung and stuff like that. So, and they're walking back and forth. Let me see. Fisheye is kind of in the middle of them, and they're kind of pushing on her and stuff like that. She pushes back and chest bumps, and so she's doing her thing. And let me see.
Wayko looks expectantly
She
for an explanation as to what he saw around the corner.
It looks like the one we found is being picked on, bullied to a certain extent.
He gives a thumbs up, I guess, and otherwise remains quiet.
I am not 100% certain what we should do in this circumstance. I've never dealt with goblins diplomatically before.
It's a first for everything, isn't it?
and as Wayko goes around to check, just peeks in. You see that there's now a circle. Oops. Around.
Damn expanding goblins.
I know. There's now a circle around. Let me widen it out a bit. Around Fisheye. And she seems, according to the dice, to be in a kind of altercation with this other one right here.
Do they have her in a nerd circle? Is that what's going on?
Well,
No, I'm asking which puppy saw.
yeah, the ones on the outside are quietly going tikatsan, 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 and then the other two, Fisheye, and this one, you don't know the name or anything, are kind of circling each other. Fisheye has her dog slicer out, and so does the other one. Yep. Do you relay this to the others, or No.
I mean, would it be inappropriate for us to intervene?
No, Wayko's getting right up there. He just wants to watch.
As you get right about there, this one closest to
Wayko.
you kind of sticks out his spear.
Wayko backs up, but he's not that far. He's going to keep watching.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. You guys are each going to take turns rolling for Fisheye, and I will roll for the other one. Okay? That if you're going to root for Fisheye.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So amongst the group, pick 3 people that are going to roll for Fisheye.
Well, I nominate Greg because
Nice.
Now these are straight D20 rolls. So,
I think the last one should be Mazus because that's Fisheye's
Lover.
or
you have to come closer to chant for Fisheye.
Is there a back way into this? This little
You
alcove I'm
guys-
standing in, or is that grassy?
I
Or
don't know.
thickety, thorny?
Make me a perception check.
Yeah, that's like a 9.
Not that you saw.
Okay.
All right. So we've got Greg. We've got Mazes. Who's going to be the other person? Is it going to be Wayko? He was up there first. It's gonna be Who's it going to be?
do we have a vote?
Gimme.
Does anyone care?
Make your choice quick, or I
I'll
will.
do it then.
Or show only. Okay. Okay. So first roll. Let's do Greg's roll. Okay.
All right, so I'm rolling 14.
14. You see that as they're circling each other, this one kind of goes and kind of is just kind of like gesturing with his teeth and gnashing at her. When he does, she goes right up into his cheek. It goes
Suck
cuts
it.
a hole in his cheek. So let's,
With a screwdriver. I mean, what?
It's kind of like a shank.
He's duking her off with like a ratchet and tire iron.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much watching bum fights right now.
Double bag, they're just tugging on both ends.
Yeah.
So, I guess let me switch the music for you. That's that C one is not getting it for me.
Shien seems-
Okay.
Is there like a song titled Goblet Hobo Fight?
No, unfortunately not.
I don't remember there being much music over bum fights.
Shien seems awfully pleased with this little scenario that's going on. You know, survival of the fittest type deal.
Right, kind of. So you see that they're still circling each other. It's time for Magpie's roll.
No.
What does Magpie do? I'll kind of get how Gideon is helping. He's kind of standing there, like, oh, Fisheye, or something along those lines.
Well, Magpie knows all about sharps. Like that's a big part of Tengu culture. So he's probably just, if anything, like yelling actual advice, whether or not she can understand it.
Yelling actual advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swing! Swing! Bada, 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 bada.
Okay.
Oh, 11.
Okay. All right, and that one up.
No,
Alright.
hit him with the sharp end.
And she looks back at you. And then she kind of dodges out of the way as he comes in close, and she goes shink, right in his side. And you see the goblin goes.
Oh, at least she's got Kane, man. This is probably she's gonna be like a great war leader.
All right. Last roll.
What have we done?
You have unleashed Queen Fisheye, who is totally not in the original manual. Just saying, she's not in the original manual, but she should be.
What? This is like what Dawn at home.
So that means that the only one left is Mazus.
Be the boss, Fisheye.
You saying common
No, in.
or in?
She wouldn't
there we go.
understand it if it was in common. That would make.
That didn't stop the others.
We don't know Goblin.
Well, I'm glad I'm wasting all my bad rolls here. What's your roll?
Mine is a 5.
Ooh.
You know what? That still beats mine. So, you guys,
Great.
how
They get into a fucking sissy fight.
How do you want Fisheye to finish him?
Oh, fucking sissy fight him to death.
She'll probably like they'll make like a last fight and like basically jump into each other.
I've got an idea for a finisher.
But he misses and she just impales him through the side.
Okay. So, to make that a bit more, we get more detail on that as they kind of circling each other. And this other one's moving slow. He says, and which kind of translates roughly, Mazus would see, your mother was seagull eggs. And and you see Fisheye go, and they both jump into each other in the air, and at the last minute she stretches herself out longer with her sword and goes, and in midair it's like, and she lands on top of him, takes out the dog cutter, looks around at the other goblins. She says it in common.
What'd she say?
Which translates, if Mazus would do it.
Sure.
I am Queen Fisheye.
And they look at each other.
It's a Fisheye. It's a Fisheye. It's a Fisheye.
And you can't, it's got a good beat. You can't, hold out. So I'm going to pump my fist with the beat,
Wayko's cheering too. He's trying his best to do Goblin and whatever Fisheye.
So you
Shit,
guys
what's over,
say
Gideon?
something along the lines of queso fisheye, quazo fisheye.
Cheese?
Like that.
Somebody say cheese.
Cheese and fisheye?
Jeez, Fisheye.
So you don't know.
Cheese and fish. That goes well. I got it.
All right. So she walks forward, pushes past these other two, and pushes past Dum Dum, and said, kind of shares space with Shien. And
She was thinking about like squeezing his legs together and popping her head off. Probably not a good move at this point, though.
probably not, because she didn't take any damage. She dominated that fight. You guys watched her. She showed more skill in that fight than she did with you guys.
Yeah.
The opposition was perhaps not the best, but
Yeah, the comparison between the
still.
two, So she pushes right up onto Mazus, slaps his leg.
Queen Fisheye. Queen of Birdcrunchers.
and Thistletop very soon.
Her eyes get big.
Wayko bows before the queen, and as does the chicken. Just to inflate her ego more, we all start bowing. Or he does.
And as you do, she looks at you.
I like this dum-dum. This dum-dum no right thing.
You
She
can't.
looks back at her others,
You
Why
can't
you
have it.
dum-dums no do right thing?
and then they look at each other and like kind of bow their head. She looks up at the
I've
rest
got
of
no
y'all.
idea what she's saying.
She looks up at the rest of y'all. Says something along the lines of,
Dum-dum.
"Why you dum-dums not do the right thing too?" But
I'll sword with my sword.
They're too dumb to.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going with. Too dumb. Can't bow. Don't know how.
Too dum-dum. Oh.
looks
Shin's
at
gonna
Mazus
roll.
with legitimately has pity in her eyes as she looks at Mazus and says,
Poor boss. Poor boss.
"Pat your leg."
Shin's got a 19 on sense motive.
You know that she was trying to get you to bow.
She just hears his knuckles start to make a really tight, leathery fist, and it starts making cracking noises.
Something wrong with his hands.
He's eager for the fight ahead.
Yes,
Oh.
they're made of steel and pain.
We better hurry before he punches someone of us.
Me go tell group.
She goes in, and one of them tries to pipe up, and she just slaps him on the head, and she continues
Shin
chattering
leans
at them.
into Jesus. I may have to kill your little friend soon.
Wayko gets up, he's still laughing. He's laughed himself into tears while bowing. And he says, I don't think you're going to have to. I think they're all going to die in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're all gonna kill each other, ideally.
Before we do. Which will be great.
Mm-hmm.
It could turn out worse.
I mean, aside from that whole bit with the wagon earlier, this might be the easiest money I've ever made.
Okay. So she to save time tells them basically that Birdcrunchers now run Thistletop. These Longshanks gonna drive out Thistletop goblins. Then Birdcrunchers take Thistletop. Queen Fisheye tell Longshanks where to go take Thistletop. All her brilliant idea.
She can have the credit for that one. Not a great laugh.
Smile and nod.
All right. So she comes back and she basically just kind of comes back and says,
Okay, you go take Thistletop now.
We are to go and take Thistletop.
I'll retake Thistletop. You go run them out. Will you take Thistletop?
You are to go and take Thistletop, and we are there to aid you. That was our deal.
Deal.
You cannot be the boss of Thistletop unless you take it. If I go there and take it, I'm boss of Thistletop, not you.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
puts her hands on her hips.
You take Thistletop. You leave. We'll take Thistletop.
I wouldn't leave if I had Thistletop.
Make a deception check.
My favorite pile
Bluff
of
check.
rambles.
Bluff.
Hmm, 16.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad. but she narrows her eyes and says,
You leave. You know I'm still here.
Perhaps not. But we will not leave Thistletop unscathed.
What is unscathed?
We will not leave Thistletop in a habitable manner.
You
What
keep sleeping.
is habitable?
Our imminent destruction of Thistletop will be neither efficacious nor habitable.
If you let my dum-dums go and take Thistletop, there will be no Thistletop left for you. They will break everything in their way.
We will go Zelda on that place's ass.
Smash all the pots.
"Oh, the pot."
There won't be a pot standing.
I don't know pots.
Or barrels. No barrels.
She seriously
That's the other
considers. And she looks. She kind of. They step back, and she kind of comes over to him and kind of backs up and starts. And the gist of it is, they don't want to go fight the Thistletop goblins either. But they don't want you to blow up Thistletop either. So they're at a moral. They're not at a moral. They're at a diplomatic quandary.
She is
So-
walking away.
You made them come to a stalemate as Shien starts walking away.
He's just about to go and break Thistletop.
Are we going to the goblins? Are we going?
You heard you say that. You heard you say that. And she's
No, but Thistletop. We send three. We send three. Three with you.
I thought you were a mighty queen, a mighty leader. You should be first in line with your men, right beside you. You shall ride the tide and storm Thistletop, and we shall be your vanguard.
She doesn't seem to comprehend all the words that were used, but you say this in Goblin, and the others behind her go, and they're like, "Ooh, fancy words." He used big, shiny words.
Words that probably don't exist in this language.
It's magpie words. Magpie words.
And you see one come forward, and you go, and she kind of looks back and hobbles back, goes back to him. She puts his hands over his mouth and gets right in her big ear. It's hard to make it out. And perception check if you wish, but it's hard to make it out.
Yeah, sure. We'll try it.
Oh, fumble!
Wah wah.
Some kind of fish recipe. No, with the eyes they're talking about. Must have thought of something culinarily delightful to their taste buds, but
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
I know we're planning a coup, but I'm so hungry. I just got to tell you this recipe I thought of.
something like that. That's what he gets out of it.
First, you get the oven up to 350. You then wrap everything in tin foil and with some lemon.
And she's just
You
got
just-
the stir.
you get the-
Oh yes.
Get everything up to 350.
Doesn't sound too
Then,
bad.
then you take the human flesh and you put it in there.
Wait, what?
And you sprinkle.
Oh, that's so long as it's human flesh.
I see no problem with this.
Okay, so she comes back. She's like,
Fisheye come, and two. Fisheye come and two.
Is that all?
I mean, I would.
Is that all you have as a queen? What are the rest gonna
Look-
do? Just stand there and watch?
she looks back at him.
The cowards.
She looks back at him, looks up at you and says,
Blah.
Goblins are cowards.
I thought they were
Yeah,
your
that's-
dum-dums.
What dum-dums? Not that dum-dum.
and she points over towards yours.
Let's go.
As we're continuing to walk away.
Well,
It appears we're leaving.
Come, we go.
And she starts walking off with the rest.
So dum-dums know where to go.
rolls his eye. Ah. To Thistletop we go.
The other goblins just wave. like mice in a
Fuck!
they're like mice in a Speedy Gonzales cartoon. They just wave. There she goes.
Well,
our
gentlemen, seems like the
queen.
deal has changed drastically.
Oh, they're not going to fight us, are they?
I don't think they would dare. Perhaps later, though.
Well, at least for now, it's betters our odds.
True, true.
I can disguise myself as one of them, but I need to know when we are coming up to the first post.
Noted. These three that are with us are no longer any concern as for diplomatic reasons. They are as good as dead.
Cold as ice. Dear little new goblin friend.
They broke the deal, man.
I don't think there were specifics in the deal, but that's totally up to you guys. As y'all's game.
Oathbreakers.
Well, where are we going, and shall we? I'm going to pull my sword out and have it ready.
Alright then, Fisheye. Queen of Goblins, let's go and break Thistletop as you so dearly wishes.
Okay. We now go this way, and she
Ports straight in front of you.
we go other way.
And why is that?
I thought that have nasty wow, nasty stinky place. They throw goblins in there. Goblins that not do what told.
Muses at the thought. I see.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Might have to get back here. Later.
All right, again. We're just going around.
Well, if you're following her, then yes.
Just do the reveal, and then we'll plunk ourselves.
Okay. I can do that. So she ends up leading you around and through the tunnels. You see that there was an opening up by what is C27 right here. And that there does seem to be kind of like a sinkhole well thing. And you hear waves crashing underneath. You think that it probably leads around and out to sea by the sound of the waves coming up.
That way. Now go that way. Nasty noises come up.
listens as he walks past it, trying to hear the nasty voices, but
Now go towards Howling Hole.
alright,
Stop.
alright.
And she says, "Stop your dum-dum. Too close."
Matthews, wait a bit.
The dogs up ahead. Goblin dogs.
Oh.
There's these goblin dogs up ahead, apparently.
Goblin dogs? Isn't that like spider flies?
They're like giant rats.
Oh, that sounds awful.
We watch from the guard tower.
Giant rats with a bad rash.
I want to make Paladin acrobatics up a tree.
Okay. There are thorns along all the trees. You can try,
All
but
right,
you're
give it a shot.
currently in a little. You're currently in a little tunnel. You'd have to go through some of the brambles to get to the tree.
Well, just before we get to the dogs. Is really what I'm... Is that a possibility, or do we just open up into dogs?
Well, she says that the dogs are going to be right through there. There's some more brambles in the way, so you can't really see through. But she says once you step through here,
Dogs up there. Dogs.
So which way do we go?
This only way. But dogs get loud. You sneak, and then run.
she turns to
The dogs
Oh,
wouldn't attack you,
Mazus.
now would they?
Dogs? They're not Birdcruncher dogs. They're Thistletop dogs.
How do you get into Thistletop then?
Walk? Dogs chained up, but not chained up for long.
Huh. Alright, so the nasty dogs are chained up, apparently, but not for long. So, any brave souls with light feet could easily get past them.
All right.
That was easy.
You send your dum-dum.
I mean, you could at least ask me to my face, but I guess I'll just do it. 28.
okay, you stealth, and the goblins are impressed.
24.
Would you roll?
24 for myself.
Okay, so you choose stealth, and the goblins are fairly impressed. They're like,
They're quiet.
So I guess we're moving forward to the dogs.
Yeah, I think we're trying to sneak past the dogs.
okay. So, let me reveal what you see. And you don't so much see them, but you can hear them now that you're listening for them. At least the two that are sneaking and going a bit more forward.
Mm-hmm.
Jim there. And let me get them to the correct letter. So right there. And you probably would have been right about there when you saw them. So you see that there's some dogs sitting there, and as you're approaching, they don't seem to really take notice. There's just kind of one yawns. There's a couple in the back that are sleeping. One right about this one kind of just stretches his legs and stands up for a bit. Kind of goes.
I know what goblin dogs are supposed to look like, but the tokens you got here are like big Cujo pit bulls.
They're what was on there.
I'm far more worried than I feel like I need to be.
You know how tough these goblin dogs are.
Got a rough idea. What what do we do? You wanna gank him?
I think we should. Other than I don't get past.
All right, you go right, I go left.
Sick. Let me see if there's anything I got that can help us. You want me to go right, you'll go left.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
Do you want additional stealth rolls, or are we good with the ones we rolled? Adam.
Is it there?
Forgot I was muted. You're still good with the ones you rolled.
Okay. I'll keep going left. Or just tucked into the underbrush if I can.
Okay. Make a. If you're going to try and sneak in with the brambles, make a check with, let's say, a reflex save, just to be
All right.
safe. Not.
Modified 20.
20, and what was your
for
sin?
me?
Modified 20? Okay.
Yep.
Yay! Horrible rolls. So that means that these guys are just gonna, and the one that was standing up kind of lays back down. Now you
Alright,
can't
wanna
walk
duck in
over
here?
them. If you start to walk over them, they're going to.
No, I mean around and through.
Okay, all sneaky and around and through.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, bump. Bump. I'm trying to stand on top of the dog.
Okay. So there's that. What's going to happen? When is this going to spring?
They're sleeping?
At the moment, you guys
That's
are
a
being
coup de
very
grace.
quiet.
Yeah, I'll go for coup de grace too. Oh, do you have to roll for coup de grace? I don't feel like you do. It's just damage, isn't it?
It's not a. It's
It's an automatic.
It's an automatic crit, but you still have to hit.
No, you don't have to hit.
I'm back.
Oh, you don't have to hit? It's just an automatic critical?
Yeah, coup de grace is like a save versus death thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do want you to roll to see how quiet. Are you trying to do this quietly, or just trying to stomp?
Oh, yeah. Shien will grab him by the scruff of their neck. Just snap.
Okay. So if you want to do a nice quick snap, you're going to need to roll another stealth roll.
Help his opponent.
Yeah, that's a 19 for the roll and 26 for the stealth.
Okay.
19 for the stealth.
These guys can't see nothing. All right. You both kind of look at each other, nod. And the most that seems to come out is like, and then nothing.
So, yeah, one takes 16 from me and the other one takes 14.
All right.
3, 6,
14
12.
total.
Yeah.
12 from me.
And then it's a save versus death, right?
Yeah, I
Yours
have
got-
the rules right here.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, and it's a critical hit, so they should be times 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I already factored that in, so.
oh, I did not.
Oh, you
24.
did not?
Then. 24.
Okay.
So that would be a fort save of DC 10 plus damage dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. So they go, and like
Hey,
I said,
Adam, I
most
did
of the
that
others-
2 of them.
on 2 of them. You're gonna have to roll another
Yeah.
stealth.
Because I got
It's a full round action.
flurry. Oh, is it? Okay, then I only did it on 1.
Yeah, it's a full round action. That's it. I don't
Yeah.
think you can flurry of blow things to death stealthily. That sounds loud
That would
and
be
kung fu action.
amazing.
Well, he probably could do that before some things woke up, but not in this case.
I snap
It
your
is
neck,
a
I snap
drawing,
your
just
neck, I
regular
snap
attack.
your neck.
No, I know with goblin dogs, when
Yeah.
you touch them,
You do,
Right.
yes. You guys do need to make that fortitude save.
Is that when you hit them with a melee weapon or when you touch them unarmed?
No, you have to physically touch them, so you're okay. But he needs to make a melee. I mean, a fort save.
I've got a very
see
long,
what the hell.
sharp, sticking stick.
let me,
What was
let me
yours?
see what. I gotta see what the heck my bonus is. We're looking at 15.
All right. Don't seem to get any kind of itchiness going on. Those 2 are down. Fisheye goes,
Reach?
What?
Kane?
Hmm?
You have reach?
No, I just haven't moved again.
Oh, you got your S stock. I got you.
Yeah.
okay,
All right. Crunchy time.
okay. So, let's see how quietly you can do this.
Yeah, 25.
Another 19.
I'm doing great on the stealth rolls today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That means the one that Shien kills. Another happens. But the one that the S-Stalk slides into is out of go. And he's still dead. But made a bit of noise.
That wasn't really an alarm call, though. I imagine these things squabble all the time.
All right. So that seems to be that.
Wow, that was morbid.
Not exactly honorable combat.
She says, as the others rush forward with her. They clap.
Shien just glares at her.
And she does that to both of you.
Pretty sure I don't need a sense motive to have the idea that she said good job, dum-dum.
Pretty much, yeah.
Select the token. Thank you.
Oh, do we need to make
Head
another
downstairs,
four
forward.
dogs again? Do we need
What?
to four again for
yes.
touching dogs again?
Yep.
I'm okay.
Okay. All right then.
It was higher than last time, so
Stellar work.
these things stink.
Yeah, and they shed.
You're not sure if he's talking about the dogs or the goblins.
Either, both.
Okay. You guys come looking down this way. Seems to kind kind of lead to a little spot there with brambles and sticks and stuff. And then there might be another bit down that way. She says,
No go that way. No go down. No go that way.
What is down that way?
Grisgut. Grisgut down that way.
Grisgut?
Yes, Grisgut. He down that way.
Isn't
They
he
have-
important?
Pit. Important to Thistletop. Not to Birdcrunchers.
Wouldn't you need to kill him in order to really take over Thistletop, though?
Maybe. You help kill him?
What? What did you say?
You help kill him.
Oh,
You help kill him?
certainly.
Okay, we got this way.
starts walking in this way.
He have big kitty.
A kitty?
No mess with his. Yes, big kitty. Big kitty usually sleep here.
What are you leading us into?
There's a important person of Thistletop that apparently has a big kitty.
Grisgut, what's the name?
Hold on, get up in my notes.
All the goblin names are the same.
I don't know, I speak Goblin, but I'm not going to bother relaying an actual name.
Not in my notes, so it's not the bugbear.
It's an insult to my intellect.
Alright. So she kind of leads down this little narrow portion here of souls. She's still having to dunk down. And as you come down to this one, she kind of just...
Where's the car? Here's the here.
I'm not super jazzed about the idea of a giant cat, so
Shien looks and listens. 11 for perception.
Okay. 11 for perception. So, you... Let's see. You don't hear anything. Seems very quiet. There was a little fire here, and the entirety of what you see is a tangle of vines hang from the thorny ceiling of this chamber, each suspending a clattering collection of bird skulls, bone ribs, teeth, and other bits of gruesome decor. In a few places, the vines drop all the way to the floor. A large nest of nettles and thorny vines sits to the south, a halo of half-eaten dead birds and rats, indicating that whatever sleeps here eats in its bed.
Delicious.
if there's nothing here, then might as well leave.
I don't know if you saw it, but Wayko got a 19 for perception from the back.
He doesn't seem to sense anything either.
Hmm.
Besides, he's way back there.
Jeff, no, I'm good to leave whenever.
Can you call on him?
Call him. Why do you call him?
Yeah, why would we call?
Shien starts poking around in this nest thing over here.
Well, we wouldn't want anything coming from the behind while we move forward, would we?
I'm sure it won't be a problem.
That's
Well,
very
you poke
optimistic
around in
of
there.
you, Magpie.
I'm just an upbeat kind of guy.
You poke around in there, Shien, and it's mostly got a musky scent, lies heavy right there, and it's mainly a matted nest of red and black hair.
Well, if we can't find anything,
Yeah.
even if there is something here, if we can't find it, we're not doing anything.
Well, no one
Shien's
went.
gonna sneak forward.
Okay.
Gain
What's the stealth?
17.
Okay. Kind of sneak forward. And don't sense anything. Nothing seems to sense you.
Creep over this way.
As you creep over that way, wow! You hear
Ow.
as
Crybaby kitty?
something like that. This big cat, big black, not cat, cougar. That doesn't get on top of your token.
Not a cougar.
Wow.
Gets on top
Or
of
that
you.
long.
But there you go. That cat has.
Super pudgy and adorable.
This cat seems to have black fur with stripes of red down its spine. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Oh no, jive cat.
Mm-hmm. Big kitty.
Well, I'll definitely have my chance to run away.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah, it's Tango Tooth.
Looks like dinner.
You don't eat giant cat. Who eats giant cat?
Oh boy, is there time for an explicit joke right here.
I'm just starved for some panther.
Uh-huh. All right. So everybody, let me see. Everybody has their tokens, yeah?
Yep.
So initiatives are on there. Let me get their initiative.
No,
I
I
can't.
don't see initiative tokens for anybody.
Don't?
For Emmy and Mazus.
Only Emmy and Mazus?
Yeah.
I copied it. Let me see. All right, so I will
It has
remove
to-
all turns.
It's tokens from another layer.
Yeah.
So
And I will add. There's y'all's turns. Fisheye's turn. Can y'all see those turns now?
Yep.
There we go.
That kitty, that's a bad kitty. Yeah, kitty.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, and then that one it's not going to be a surprise round because everybody was watching. What's your initiative bonus, Shien?
Mine? 8.
Yes. 8? All right.
Okay.
All right. So the cat goes after you. All right, Magpie. You heard the something like that.
Magpie runs away.
What?
Big cat. Big cat.
Are you serious?
Well, it depends on whether or not I can shoot it from here.
You can't even see it from here.
What's new, pussycat?
What about here?
Just barely. You see this medium-sized panther attempting to jump out and maul Shien, appearing just right out of the brambles, just like.
All right, I'll shoot into melee.
It's just Shien.
It's just give me fine.
I'm completely fine, you guys.
That's only a 10 with the minus from shooting to melee.
Nope.
The hell are you shooting at?
I'm not going over there.
This yelling happening. Okay. That all you're gonna do, Magpie?
Yeah, I just moved and shot. He doesn't want anything to do with that cat.
Okay. All right, Shien. You get to wail on this kitty cat that's been messing you up.
Shien is going to try and do this fun little reversal thing as this thing's jumping out at him. So trip attack. He's going to try and flop it over onto its back, like over it.
Okay. You're wanting to do a maneuver or a actual attack?
Maneuver first, and then attack.
Okay.
I can do it as part of my flurry of blows deal.
Okay.
So 24 because of the maneuver bonus.
4?
24.
Oh, 24. I was
24.
like, 4.
I heard 4.
How did you? Yeah, you cut out on the 20 part, and I was like, 4?
Yeah. 24.
Pretty sure his bonus
24.
is higher than 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 4. All right, so you definitely get that CMD to happen.
And then, so I flop it onto its back, and then I immediately reverse into like a downward punch. And 19 on the roll.
19. Okay, it is technically prone at the moment.
Go,
you slammed it on its
kitty.
back. So you do hit.
Ooh, 11 points of damage.
All right. You do 11 points.
Kitty.
Your fists come down. The cat tries to open its mouth and swing back at you as you flipped it over onto its back like cats spinning with their spine try to do. And as you do, its mouth comes up at a wrong angle and you smack it right in the jaw. All right. Anything else you want to do? Try and move?
Flurry is a full attack action. I guess I could like 5 foot out of its space, but
Well, I moved it 5 feet over because you slammed it on the ground. So
yeah, actually I am gonna 5 foot.
okay. Where are you 5 foot?
Set up that sweet flank bonus.
That's right in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anybody who comes up behind it will get the flank.
I think he's
Oh, yeah.
referring to the charging paladin.
Yeah.
Feel me there.
I charge before the paladin does.
But that means that it's the kitty cat's turn. And it doesn't care that it's laying on the ground. It's trying to spin around and slash at you. So, that's what it's going to do.
From the ground?
Even from the ground. It's trying to bite and claw at you.
Damn back leg kitty cat thing.
Yeah. Well, that's an...
On 15, I don't know what
13.
attacking from prone does. But
It's a negative to his check. So that's 15.
15 will hit.
Oh, wait. You're right. On the ground. So, not 15. Won't hit. 15 to your armor class, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so
I
that
think
does
it's-
not hit.
I think it's -4 to attack from prone.
If I remember right, that is correct. So,
Really, cats should get ground fighter. Should just be a thing.
well, this one doesn't have it. He has other things.
I know, I'm just saying they should have it because
Because they've
I've
got
seen
on
a
the
cat like roll onto its back and start raking the shit out of something. Then
Yeah. Well, claws don't hit you either. Unfortunately, poor kitty cat couldn't catch a break. So it's as it's laying on the ground, its tail twisting back and forth. It's going.
is it talking?
No,
Is
it's
that
going.
cat speaking goblin?
All
No,
cats
it's
try to.
going. Meow.
All cats try to talk.
All cats try to talk. Meow.
Oh, God's on.
In fact, it's trying to talk to me right now to tell me to feed it. Again.
Well, the center of the food bowl is empty. The food around the rim,
Okay.
that's not full.
Someone jiggling keys.
Oh, sorry. I thought my mic was muted. I'm playing with the cat.
Oh, murdering one cat while playing with another. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to distract him from the fact that we are killing one of his brethren.
I don't think. To be honest, I don't know that the cat would much care. But okay,
They're hateful
Wayko's
creatures.
turn.
All right.
Wayko, what you gonna do?
Okay, Wayko is he's gonna look down that direction and think, oh well, he hears the ruckus and stuff, and then he gauges how far he might be away. Then he looks up the direction where he's coming, and he thinks about the ruckus of cat battle down there, and he's just gonna roll a stealth and see if he can keep his focus on the north, just to make sure no one comes to head off cat murder. And that's a critical fail. So he's probably just going to back into the brambles and then cuss a lot.
Loudly. So take 1 point from the brambles. Okay. You don't see any motion from the north.
Oh, great.
All right. That's Wayko's turn, I guess. Gideon, it's your turn. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Well, as much as I feel bad for the attacking a cat, I'm going to do my paladin thing, and I'm going to walk, saunter gently towards him, because you don't want to spook a cat. That never goes well. And I will power attack from behind. So that is 2 times.
You get 2 for the flank.
Oh, +2 for the flank. Okay, so that takes me to a modified 19.
All right, and you also, it's a not hitting its regular AC, so go ahead and roll that damage.
Okay. So that is 2d4. Okay. So that's 4, 8, 11, 17.
17 damage. Damage.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, kitty.
As you do that, the cat. Let me see, get the plus sign up so I can make sure just how much damage you got.
Oh, I'm sorry. Messed that up. It's actually 20 with the plus 3. No. It's 17. 17. Disregard.
17 damage.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Sorry.
hearing. Okay, so 17 damage. All right. So the cat, you hit it. It's laying there on the ground after being thrown and being hit, and it's like. And as it's swinging its legs, focusing on Shien, you kind of walk up and the cat goes and kind of lays there.
Well, is there anything else around?
You don't hear anything else.
I'll for the heck of it, I will make an active perception to take a look around. 3.
Yep.
Nope. You thought you saw something. You thought you saw the cat switch again, but other than that,
Such a shame to let such a nice fur go to waste.
I love how you're like, you can't spook a cat. Bad things happen when you spook a cat, and then you just bisected it from behind. It was horrible.
What was that?
Nothing. There was nothing.
There was nothing. I saw a thing.
active perception, if you want.
Sure. Why not?
What's your active perception?
17.
17.
Not bad.
You indeed did see something. You indeed see something green in robes shift in the thistles.
Is this for anybody?
Emmy caught it. So
Anyone else wants to roll perception? Otherwise,
Well, that's why I was asking. Is this anything anybody could see or?
I don't know. Does Emmy relay this to you?
absolutely, but she's going to do so from a distance.
There's something.
Not exactly.
How
shouting.
exactly are we going to do that? Are you trying to do it quiet, or are you just saying, "Hey, there's something in the bushes"?
No, she's
Okay.
the gestury things like, and she's gonna point.
Or again, maybe.
Playing
you know?
charades.
Emmy, what are you doing?
I saw something.
She looks like she's trying to signal us.
Saw something where? You mean the giant cat? It's dead.
No, something else. It was ran into the bramble.
All right, I'll make a perception check.
Okay.
22.
Looking into the bramble, you see. You kind of have to let your eyes do that forest vision thing, you know, where you focus out of certain things
Mm-hmm.
as you're watching the forest, and then you see a bit of movement. And as you do, you see another goblin in robes, not like this picture, I didn't get a picture of him for you guys, but he's kind of looking at the looking at the killed cat, and you see, he's got tears coming out of his eyes and looks really angry. And he's looking at the cat, and then he's looking up at the other guys, and you see him start to waggle his fingers.
I want to yell to Shien then.
Okay.
Shien, to the trees, and you're right.
And as you say that, some flames gout out towards Gideon, the killer of the cat.
You killed my kitty,
So I'm the
Mr.
Pussy Slayer
Mew.
now?
What?
So I'm the Pussy Slayer now? Is that what we're going with?
Somebody finally said it.
Push!
Sure, why not?
Okay. That'd be a tough
Deadpan disappointment in Adam's voice.
He's like, we almost made it.
I'm the one who said that if we were going to do the Dirty Dozen, I would have to talk in only sexual innuendo. So
That was
All
not
right.
an innuendo, sir.
Dick.
all right. So Gout of Flame.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
All right. Let me see. That is 4 plus. Where'd it go? 1. So 5 damage to you.
Okay.
That's pretty steep.
And it's now very easy to see that this goblin has set some of that dry thistle fuzz on fire also along with that. So he's got a nice little pathway in there that shows where he is. But you take that damage. And we're going to pick up from his turn since everybody was taking their time. I will let me see, we're on Gideon's turn, so I'll let Mazus go ahead and jump in. We'll just say that he comes after, as if he was holding his action. So Mazus sees this happen. He's way back there, and he does not have a good line of sight on this thing. It has cover if he tries to shoot at it, just to make you aware. What you want to do, Mazus?
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
On the thistles.
You know he doesn't do that.
Not that kind of wizard.
Not that kind of wizard.
I'm the kind of wizard that makes money.
Yeah. Oh, he'll fire some acid. That's what he can do. This
Okay.
here. So that's an 18.
He does
versus
have-
touch.
He does have cover, though. So, 18 versus touch with... roll me... I believe cover gives a percentile to miss, doesn't it?
It depends.
No, that's
It's
like
a straight up armor
displacement.
class.
Okay.
covers the bonus to armor.
If he has like full cover.
He's got-
it's-
Yeah. It's either 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, or full.
Well, he has practically full cover.
And it goes 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. He has, I'll say at least half cover, even from that flame being there. So he's got at least half cover, say, in his armor class. I don't think so. Nope, you miss.
His touch.
Still miss.
Well, that's his turn.
So,
More
All right, Emmy, what are you gonna do? You spotted him. What are you gonna do with him?
Yeah.
Plus 8 to AC.
I'm gonna
You know, Mazus, theatrically, you should have said dum-dums.
past Magpie. See how far away he is. So he's 30 feet. He's within range. And then you will daze him.
DC 18.
Yep.
Okay. As you cast the magic energy from your finger, it kind of, nothing appears physically, but the magical energy you kind of sense and feel whistle around and swing right into his forehead, and he goes, oh. Success. All right. Anything else you want to do? More movement? Anything, quick actions, anything like that?
Yeah, she's gonna step back if I can select her again. There we go.
Did you step forward already?
I had stepped forward to in front of Magpie. I thought he said I could get a little more movement, or no?
Do that.
Yeah, that's a 5e thing that you can split up movement between things.
So I can or can't?
Yeah,
You can't move again. You decide where to move and then
Okay.
decide what to do. But if you had any other
Okay.
quick things,
No, nothing else.
that's my fault. I may have said that. That was my fault. All right. So then now it is Fisheye and her goblin's turn, and they go,
Whoa! Good job. Snap to brisket.
and they kind of step this way and get out of your way.
Whoa!
Just the look of disappointment in Mace's
killing them,
eyes.
killing them sooner and sooner.
Yeah. All right. Magpie will move, drawing his S-stock, and he'll swing it like flippantly and dangerously past the face of this last goblin before stepping into the bush.
Stepping into the bush?
Well, yeah, because I have to get close enough to stick him.
Okay, just so you know, let me draw where the little thing is. Just so you know, he burned out a swath right here. Okay? If you
Okay.
step in there, you're stepping directly into a big bushel of thorns. You could do it and reach him, but you take damage. So,
Or he could step past Gideon and into the opening.
yes. You have enough movement to do it the safe way. I'm giving you the option to do it the safe way. If you want to go full on into the brambles, that's totally up to you.
Brave birdmen fear no brambles, right?
Yeah, sure.
Meow.
As long as the cat's
Yeah.
dead.
All right.
This forest is already getting old. That's a natural 20.
Oh. Okay.
Let me get the booko.
Try to
Uh,
I don't
confirm.
know percentiles.
Will a modified 20 confirm?
Yes.
Percentile?
Oh, right, percentile.
Somebody other than me. Somebody other than me.
6.
This guy's so screwed anyways. 6 is standard critical.
All right. Oh no, I'll just do double damage. Woe is me.
Terrible.
As you get this close to him, you see that he had something that helped you catch your eye to him was that his blade had small flames coming off of it.
Well, I stick him for 10 damage.
10 whole damage.
10 whole damage.
Okay. Even with the crit?
Yeah, I don't add anything to my damage until next level.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'm just
And you confirmed, though, so you
I'm
need to do your
just
percentile
rolling,
dice.
I did. It was 6. It's just a standard crit.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. 2 damage. Okay. Not too bad of a turn for Magpie as you swing your S-stalk carelessly in front of the other goblins, but stride right into him and just step right up and go. Especially since he's dazed.
Yeah, but that doesn't
All
stop him
right.
from dodging, apparently.
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, he's just kind of dazed. It stops his action, but not his dodging.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. So, he takes that damage, and now daze lasts until the end of his next turn, or
His next turn is forfeit.
Yeah, his next
Okay.
turn is forfeit.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, Shien.
If he would have went in order of his initiative, he probably would have lost that. But
Well, he was still in front of Emmy.
Yeah, he is.
He was the only person he was in front of was Mazus. And we only moved Mazus down 1 because he acted. We were out of combat for a minute. Everybody was doing their thing. So Mazus,
She's gonna go for the trip.
well, that's
24.
brambles. That's brambles right there.
Yeah,
You
I'll take
have
the
to
point.
get into the brambles.
Yep, I'll take the point. Yep.
It's not 1 point if you just walk directly into the brambles. I roll for how much?
Okay, what is it?
1 point.
Well then.
All right, so
It is not 1 point. It's 1 point.
attack is 24,
That hits him.
and then he basically drops a knee into the goblin's throat. 17 to hit.
Okay, so the 24 does knock him down, and then the other one hits him. So let me see how much.
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage. All right.
You know, Magpie, that's almost a crit.
Yeah, till next level.
All right. Does this thing? Kitty Cat's dead, so I'll trash its initiative. Wayko, it's your turn. You still watching?
Still hiding.
Yeah,
Super
exactly. He's moved over to the other side, so now he's like hiding behind this little lip here. And
Okay.
he's done a little better. I've gotten a modified 19 on stealth. And I guess I'll roll a perception as well just to make... Oh, I got a modified 2 perception. So I don't know if there's anything coming, but they might not see me.
Yeah, you're pretty well hidden, but you can't. It's more of a I can't see you, you can't see me deal.
Yeah, I got my hands...
He's really worried about backing into the brambles again.
Yeah, it's
Henrietta's wings are kind of blocking your vision as your hat gets pushed down from bumping into one of the bramble bits, and you have to take your hat off and stuff like that.
not having fun with this forest, that's all. He can establish. This entire place sucks and is pokey. And I'm tempted to say that's his turn, but I also kind of want to push up north a little bit, see if I can catch a glimpse of anything, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait.
Wayko's showing restraint? What the hell?
I guess having him chipped really did do something.
I don't want to get ganked by like a bunch of goblins who are sure they're going to spill out of every orifice of the world once I get up there.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll see what happens.
Like an old faithful filled with goblins.
All right. Gideon.
Okay, so I'm taking it I can't occupy the same square as, say, Magpie, correct?
You make things very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what then? I'm going to use my swift action to lay on hands myself for 3 damage. Going to step into the brambles and take whatever damage you roll.
Okay. Oh, you took 4 damage.
I took 4. Okay.
Man,
So I'm down to 13. I'm down there. Okay, that's good. All right. And I am going to, again, power attack this gentleman here.
Mazus looks at Fisheye. Dub-dubs.
So that would be a modified 20.
Okay, modified 20. All right. That'll hit.
Okay. So rolling damage. And again, that'll be 17.
17 more damage. All right.
17 damage.
My d20s may be off,
He's
but the
dazed.
d4s. Oof.
So he can't get up even if he wants to.
He's you guys have it's like and let me see, make me a perception check, Mazus, to see if you heard what he said.
Bethany.
I got a 10.
10. Oh, you just miss it, but you see that it makes the goblins here go. And you see him, and he goes. And
Shien grabs him and roughly hauls him out of the brambles.
it's not your turn. He's not dead.
Oh. He's not dead?
No,
I'm not dead yet.
he's not dead.
Damn it.
He's got them goblin
He's-
class levels.
He kind of just lifts up his rod, shakes it, and goes,
Didn't he lose his turn?
Yeah, he doesn't have
oh,
an
he
action.
did.
2 days.
He doesn't get an action. He doesn't get an action. So he just kind of holds his wand up and kind of waves it around, and he says something along. He actually bothers to say this in common. He actually says,
Your long sinks can go fornicate with a goblin dog.
I think I got that. It had
that's
layers.
his. That's what he.
He's dazed.
Now, remind me, can he move when he's dazed?
Dazed subject is not stunned, so attackers get no special advantage against it. A creature that has been dazed by the spell, it is immune to the effects of the spell for 1 minute.
Oh, I see it. It's right here.
It takes no actions.
No actions.
So
Okay.
it won't even bother getting up. Even if it did, it would get attacked to death.
Most he can do is just say, "Go fornicate with a goblin dog."
Too bad we killed
So-
them all.
Oh.
Mazus, it's your turn.
Do something useful.
I didn't hear that.
Slow clap?
He's just gonna wait for. He's gonna hold his action. Glare at the
Okay.
other goblins for not doing absolutely nothing.
They think you guys got it handled.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Emmy?
No, I think she's just going. ready in action for the next thing that shows up coming down this path over here, coming around this corner. That's not Wayko. I should specify that.
Good save, because that's where I was going.
It's not what. Okay. So
The next
you're ready
enemy
in
that shows
action?
up.
Okay.
Basically,
So are you just going to stand there, or are you going to get behind something, or are you just going to what?
I think she's gonna stay there because she's partially covered by this bramble here. So something coming straight down here would have to go either here or here to see her. So
Okay. All right then. So that is her turn. The other goblins see him in such dire straits, and they move down here, and they're like, one starts stomping on the cat. They're cheering behind him. But that's about it.
I guess I'll stab him again.
You brought him along. Doesn't mean that they're that interested in doing much else.
Prone.
Yes. You get bonuses. Or he gets negatives. Or both.
He gets.
If he's at 0, he's at helpless.
He's got enough strength to say go fornicate with the goblin dog, so.
Yeah, it'll drop his AC 4 points if he's prone.
Yeah.
At least he gets melee. It's ranged. He's significantly harder to shoot now. 17. Damage reduced armor class.
You hit. How much damage do you want to do to this?
Do I get sneak attack against him because he's prone?
Prone?
No, I don't think so.
You'd have to be flat-footed or flanked, and he's neither, really, I guess.
Technically.
Yeah, you don't have anyone flanking him for you.
5 more points of damage.
5 more points of damage. So, how would you like to finish him?
Well, he's standing. Magpie's standing over him.
Yes.
So I suppose after we all just sort of dogpiled on him, and he's got his little stick. I guess Magpie. I want him to like knock the stick out of his hands with the side of the S-stock, and then just stick him in the chest.
All right. So with a quick little flick of the wrist, you disarm him, and just kind of flip the S-stock around. Don't even give it full strength. You just go. And he goes, ow.
Like a toothpick through a sandwich.
Yep. Slow, uneventful death for a slow, uneventful encounter.
Uneventful.
All right. So he is effectively dead. And I assume you would wait long enough to kill the cat. Right, straight out kill the cat. So didn't give it any aid, so we will say they are dead.
Well, let's loot him.
I keep them from stomping on my valuable fur.
Oh, you push him off the fur?
Yep.
They fuss at you a bit, but Fisheye just smacks him on the head, so he points him up there.
Did this little green druid have any loot on him?
Yes, actually. So, first off, everybody make me... Well, not everybody. Wayko, Emmy, and Mazus, make me a perception check, please.
That'd be a modified 18 for Wayko.
Okay. 11. And
What am I doing?
Perception check.
perception.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
What do your janky wizard eyes see?
None of my sexy witch eyes don't.
Just crazy, crazy, crazy all the time in your face, all the time.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
All right. So, Wayko, the others don't see, but you see coming across the bridge a few goblins. And they kind of look back to each other and stuff like that. They haven't quite noticed you yet, but they're looking around. Some of the noise coming around here, laughing and stuff like that, and screaming, and Grizgit's cat's been making noise. So they haven't seen you yet, just yet.
All right. Well, is Wayko able to go right here and ready in action?
That depends. Can you stealth across?
Oh, yeah, good point. If so, either way, he's going to look over at you guys and point down the way, show there's more coming. He got a modified 19 for stealth again.
All right. They don't seem to pick up on you.
Death chicken!
Points at them with his club, and then he points down the road, and then he gets it ready for a home run swing.
Emmy hears him theater whisper, "Death chicken!"
Death chicken! Jump City!
And he
All
directs
right.
your eyes down there, where you see a few goblins about to turn and look at you guys.
Emmy's gonna step back and motion everyone backwards without saying anything.
Okay.
And he's going to ready a daze spell for the next goblin around the corner.
Okay. You ready that day's spell and motion to them. The other goblins see you and take the lead and kind of hide in this alcove. Mazus, you also, everybody picks up on what she's indicating. So, what would you like to do? They're about to look your way.
Step in there.
All right. I suppose you two, Emmy and Mazus, are trying to stealth?
Well, might as well.
Yeah, I
No
guess.
harm in trying.
No, they're pretty far away still. Whoa.
Not that far away.
There is harm in trying.
Oh. Mazus.
That's good. That'll speed them up.
Why is it a negative?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
trying to stealth, but I don't know if she's going to have any success.
Deckman, really?
I mean,
she's really just trying to get behind cover so they can't see her. So,
that's +6 to that, but
So you're not trying to stealth, Emmy? You're just stomping around?
nah, that when you put it that way, she's trying to stealth
Okay.
because
'cause
she's
that-
trying to get behind cover,
yeah, well, you-
basically. Could have been worse.
All they had to do is catch a glimpse of those big, sexy crimson robes, and we're all in trouble.
the crimson robes drives all the goblin ladies wild, just so you know, Mazers. All right, is Gideon stealthing or not? Because they're about to roll for perception. Anybody stealthing?
Yeah,
better
sure,
roll?
I'll stealth. Yeah. Let me quickly double check my minuses to stealth. So stealth, I have a modified 0.
Modified 0. So
Yep.
you don't
That's-
lose anything.
Still better than Mazus.
It's shiny Sam and the Silky Pals. Get him!
I rolled a 2, but my modifier is -2.
You know what? I'd be happy if we go into this combat with the meleeers just out in front of the casters. At this
I'll
point.
surprise them with my glittery chains.
Actually,
Okay.
is it possible for me to ready a charge, or does that have to be
You have
an intern thing?
effectively 1 round. What do you want to do?
I would like to. I can't charge. I don't think I'll be able to make the charge at this point, but I would like to ready it if they get in range. If I,
Yeah, they're not close enough to charge.
yeah, I might as well, I guess, just go with initiative, and then we'll figure it from there.
Okay. All right. You guys can re-roll initiative then, unless Shien and Magpie want to stealth.
But yeah, I'll stealth.
Shien is actually going to do something a little different. He's going to turn into
A goblin?
this goblin that we just killed.
The one he just killed.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to turn into it.
Does alter self let you turn into a specific thing?
It gives you like a disguise type deal, which I'm really horrible at. So
Just looks like he had a growth.
at the range, I'm thinking I'll be okay.
Okay. So, you use your disguise self to look like Grisgart, and let me see.
It's not disguise. It's alter.
You
So it's transformation.
Right. You can do that to look like something smaller than you.
Yep, I can transform into a smaller creature.
Small creature.
He just
Okay.
puts his shoes on his knees.
Shoots on his knees. Tries to stretch his ears out a bit. All right. Well, in that case, Gideon just kind of stands there. Just, oh, look, something's coming. And these goblins, they kind of, their ears perk, and their goblin dogs go, goblin dog that one of them is riding goes, and they go, so they start coming down this way, and they just waltz right past Wayko.
And they are in range
And-
for me there.
Yes, so moving them forward slowly.
I'll take a shot if I can, right when the last goblin is walking by.
Okay,
Yeah, and that's about.
so you do that.
That gives Emmy a good shot at this guy too.
Okay,
And that's a
so
dazed
you may
spell.
take
if you're
your
ready.
actions. You may re-roll initiative and take your actions, your held actions now. You'll start at whoever had the highest initiative. We'll let you guys get your surprises off first, though.
Oh man, killing it.
Yeah.
Got a 24 because my dex is now better.
Is that for initiative or surprise attack, the first roll?
It's for initiative. Your surprises will still get off.
Very well. I natural 20'd initiative.
All right. I guess you guys did have a surprise round. Very
No.
surprising.
Where should I stealth to?
Right there.
Is that your initiative? Is your initiative correct, Magpie?
No. For rolling new initiative. But you asked me
Yes.
if I wanted to stealth.
Yes,
which
you
I-
are
which I
stealth.
did.
You are stealth.
Oh, fuck. 9.
Okay. All right. Does everybody have their new one in there?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, as you guys do that, the surprise round goes off. Oof. And we're going to start with the first person that held an action, which is Wayko. Wayko, what do you do?
Just one moment. Let me check something real quick here. he's actually going to inflict wounds this last guy as he comes by. Just a surprise.
So you know this.
Yeah.
So you know this last guy is riding the goblin dog.
Oh, okay. In that case, he's not going to titty twister the guy robbing the goblin dog, but attempt to titty twister the dog.
Under the dog?
Yeah, I just get that on my back, and I grab all 8 as much as I can, and I just give it a going. And yeah. So if that's, do you roll? Let's see, one sec. I always forget this.
It's a touch
That's
attack.
just like a basic spell here. Is that just it hits? Or
You roll to
with
touch
int?
it.
Yeah, it's
Roll
a
an
touch.
attack. Do you have combat casting?
I do
Sure.
not have combat casting, I believe.
Okay.
I
So you're
don't think it'll matter if the guy doesn't know he's there.
Yeah, this is a surprise round. He's okay. He's
Very
not.
true. Very true.
Well, either way, I've gotten a modified 22 for the spell.
You totally titty twist that dog's.
Titty twist
Yeah.
that dog.
It's kind of weird. You grab down there.
9 damage.
Grab down there, and this wasn't a female dog. So you grab
He's
some
like, that's
stuff
not
down there.
me.
It's like,
Your favorite Ellen Hunt movie. Twister!
all right.
They hadn't
so
neutered him before. He is now.
you effectively necromagic his nuts. So how much damage are we talking about?
It was 9. 9 damage.
9.
From hand to ball damage.
Ugh.
All right. Hand to ball, 9 damage. Okay.
Did
Yeah,
you
it was
really
like-
just 9 damage him with the? I was like, that should be a crit. Critical nut.
All right. And also, Emmy held a turn. So who are you dazing?
The nearest guy, this guy right here. That's
Okay.
18.
Ooh, nat 20.
Ooh.
You feel the magic extend from your finger and try to go into his mind, but he goes and looks over towards you where you were.
Lovely.
There's
Of course,
no
he already
knife,
saw
right?
Mazus. He already saw Mazus's flashy robes kind of through the brambles down there, flapping. So he didn't give anything away. Just so you know.
Mazus finally gets to use a spell he's been hanging on to forever.
My robes bring all the goblins to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours.
All right. Oh,
Let
let me go back that up. I hit the wrong button. So Shien, that means you're next because we're starting at the top. And they're going to give up. They rolled horribly on their initiative, so they're going to have a bad day.
Didn't Mazus hold an action?
Did you, Mazus?
Alex?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, okay. You can hold your action
Yeah,
also.
you get,
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take your surprise.
he gets to use something he's been holding on to forever.
Hmm.
Is it butt stab? The butt stabbing spell?
Oh,
Kamehame color spray.
Finger of 1,000 Years Death from Naruto.
Can only hit 2 of them though.
Why?
No,
What's
one of
rainbow?
the other ones. Oh yeah, I suppose it would be hit dice.
The other one is technically on that goblin dog.
This one? Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
then I'm getting all of them.
very sad looking goblin dog.
All right then. Well, he's going to jump forward out of,
Good old
out of the
fourth colors.
brambles and extend
Okay.
his hands and fire off all the colors of the rainbow.
Oh,
So pretty.
He's painting with the
All
colors
the
of the
colors
wind.
of the rainbow.
There's no such thing as accident. mistakes, just happen in accidents.
Oh, Bob Ross.
Wow, and you even miss Wayko.
I was gonna say, is that a ray?
No, it's a 15-foot cone.
Yeah, cone.
It's come.
Oh, he just
So what should
angled
he
it right.
say? What should he say?
It's gonna add DC 14, I believe. Yep.
That would have made
This
it.
is a will save, if I remember right.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
So
And if they fail,
Okay.
it's bad.
Depending on how many hit dice they have.
I don't think they have enough to save versus any of his
I mean,
stuff.
even if they have 3 or 4 hit dice, it's really bad.
Oh, the Goblin Rider got a natural 20. The dog did not. Oh, and the other Goblin got a 19.
Wow.
So the rider's got to make a ride check, I believe, to avoid all that fun BS
Being thrown from his horse. Dog.
thing.
Well, what's the effects on the dog?
It
Mare.
depends what hit die it has.
Okay.
Probably unconscious.
Probably.
If it's 2 or less, then he's
Yeah, that's what it
unconscious.
is. So,
Well, he's unconscious,
It is
blinded,
unconscious.
and stunned for 2d4 rounds.
Jesus.
And
so
afterwards,
the dog just kind of...
there's more effects after that, but I don't think he'll survive that long.
Ooh, let's take him with us.
Goblin
No!
dog? Oh, that reminds me.
Let's
you need to make a
not.
fortitude. You need to make a fortitude save, Wayko.
For touching his balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you touched a goblin dog's balls.
For his flaky ball.
It's flaky, flanky, wanky.
Count.
He only gets the fortitude save after he looks at his hand for a while and goes. He got a 14 fortitude.
Like,
14? Okay. You kind of brush off the stuff.
gross.
Barbecue sauce.
All right.
And then he moves back a bit.
Okay, so the goblin dog basically just collapses. There's nothing left to make a ride check on. They're just kind of like... So,
Just turned it into Lugan.
now it is their turn. Now it is Shin's turn at the start of the round. So,
Yay.
Ready? Just saying.
Big Dan doggy dude.
He decided to just stand out in the open, I thought.
Oh.
Was really far.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we could hold the charge, so I just sort of said we'll handle it through initiative.
Okay.
Did you want to charge?
I don't know if that's
Shin.
feasible as a held action, is it?
You can hold your action. You are kind of in a curved area. You can get a charge maybe on the front one.
Okay. Well, if that's cool for my
You
first
did say-
action.
I do remember you saying that you were holding a charge. So
Okay, so I will then charge the goblin, and just because for flavor, I'm going to throw in it's like Final Fantasy VII style braver limit break, over the head swing. We're not at Omni Slash yet. We're getting.
not the Omni Slash. Okay.
Yeah, wait for
Not
the
yet.
generators to kick in. Well, maybe a belt of battle.
So 15 minus 2 plus 2, so it's back at 15 plus 7, 22.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. So for damage, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 15.
Okay. Let me see. All right. These aren't any kind of special goblins. So, let me see. You, oh. No, you can't do that. All right. So you come up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna slice this guy. It won't be too hard. I'm not gonna do crazy. I'm just gonna give him a nice overhead. Oh shoot! He's in half.
Because Gideon.
Yep.
I'm still going to go back to Shien's poem for him. Roses are red, violets are blue. If you're a bad guy, Gideon's going to split the shit out of you.
Yeah.
He is kind of like a man-hewer, like consistently chopping everyone in half.
Or cutting their faces off or whatnot. Beheading them.
Broken swings.
Okay. Well, Gideon just split some people. There was a big, vibrant spray of color by Mazus. Emmy tried to stun one. You saw her cast a spell, and Wayko fondled with the dog, and it collapsed afterwards. So it was either really good or not. You don't know. But it is now. Now we're at the top of the initiative. Shien, what would you like to do?
5, 6. Shien, disguised as the goblin, just makes a break for it right behind this one.
You just run?
Yep.
Okay. As you run
The dog's
by,
not a concern. The goblin shouldn't be a concern, I don't think.
as you run by, the guy raises his dog slicer and then sees you and lets you go by.
Oh boy.
And stays focused on Wayko. Anything else you'd like to do to this unexpected goblin?
I just used a bunch of move to get there, and I had to move all janky, so I don't think I can do anything. Unless you let me spend a hero point.
I'll let you do that. They're yours to spend.
Do you have one?
Yep,
Pop his head off like a
I'm
Coke
supposed
bottle.
to. I thought I was supposed to.
Oh yeah, because I gave him one last time for protecting the crap out of me.
Yep. I just hadn't given them out this yet. So yes,
Okay.
I know you have one, Shien. Go ahead.
So Shien reaches behind and just wraps his arm around this guy. Tries to give him a nice, swift little jerk. 20 to hit.
That hits him, especially since he's not expecting anything from you.
And 8 to damage.
8 to damage. You reach up and go. Flop, flop.
I just got the goblin dog to deal with.
Stink. Yeah, the goblin dog's stunned and unconscious. It's screwed. There's no surviving. There's not even any reason for
Initiative now.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what that happens.
Magpie walks
Yeah.
out of the bush. What did I miss? What happened?
And at this point, probably Gideon and Emmy and Mazus are splattered in goblin blood from this violent.
There was a bit of a font that happened with the whole splitting of the goblin. So
More blood
Very
people
well.
dead.
You guys look gnarly.
Wayko's gonna push his way past the group there, and he's gonna head over to Magpie and be like, "It was an interesting, marvelous battle," as he wipes his hand off on his feathers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh no!
Magpie don't know.
He's gonna sort of.
If you try to take his feathers again, he's gonna peck you.
Emmy sort of gives Wayko a little bit of a look, then cleans off whatever's on Magpie using prestidigitation. And then
Wayko is
proceeds to
gonna-
sort of clean the blood off of herself.
Put some distance between me and that hoopla.
I'm
get
going to
ready
assume you take
once-
dog.
Thank you, Emyrelda.
Thank you for getting the Hellhound Lugan off of me.
Schmegma.
I assume you take care of the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If necessary, I'll just
care
walk
of
up and poke it with my very long sword.
Okay, so you just go. And keep
I'm sure
walking.
that's what you tell all the ladies.
Yeah, basically. Well, my new
Fisheye
earned title,
goes-
right?
Dang it, Bobby. Dang it, Bobby.
Right?
Fisheye, Fisheye goes, such good. Wait. She runs off.
What is
She's
she
getting friends.
doing now?
Get her pals.
Oh my god.
Rally them up.
She goes and she says,
Shien looks at Mazus. Can I kill them now?
she
We now have a
looks at you,
cheering
so-
squad.
Die muscle. Good.
you bring birds. She looks at the others. She looks at the others. You say, you bring birds. And they look in their pouches and they hold up several little birds that they've caught. And she grabs one and goes,
Wayko grins at that and then immediately just stares at Magpie like,
Well, I say there, boy.
What are you looking at me for?
Meanwhile, Henrietta's claws are digging into Waco's forehead.
yeah, he's just like grinning incessantly at Magpie, and a bit of blood is just leaking down from under his hat.
okay. So she brought some more friends to watch these great exploits of these big bosses.
The adventure
Big
of our
bosses and his
group.
dum-dums.
Now with a live audience.
I hope they have bleachers up there.
We'll just get them in the trees. Up in the trees.
Honestly, I'm not sure I want them around no longer.
Ah, if anything else, we can use them as a shield.
That's what I thought the original plan was, but we seem to be doing fine.
Yeah, just get in between them and everything else.
Except that they insist to be behind us at all times.
We can actually change that by force.
I am sorely disappointed in their enthusiasm of claiming Thistletop.
Well, it seems like a rather defensible position. Depending on how long we stay together, should we keep, maybe claim it for our own little fort?
I'm game. These dudes are super easy to murder.
Mazus was looking for a place to start his franchise. This might not be bad.
Build your wizard's tower on this remote little goblin island.
That would be one way to play Rise of the Runelords.
That we just genocided an entire tribe of goblins. It was super lawful good.
Honestly, I thought that's what we were going to do after we beat Thistletop. Like,
I
you
mean-
can't replace one infestation with another infestation. Whatever, let's just figure it out.
Those
I'm
are
not-
decisions for another time, as it is time for us to actually say goodbye.
Oh,
Third time of the night.
Yes. So, is there, you guys enjoyed tonight, I guess, considering it's kind of different than what you were probably expecting with the whole diplomatizing the goblins and being like, yeah. And they're like, yeah. We'll watch.
It could
We'll watch.
go either way, really.
I reiterate, we can always get up there and then just start throwing the goblins at them, like physically thrown.
Shien and Gideon could do it. I mean,
Exactly.
All right,
The question
guys.
is if they would
Well-
ally with the Thistletop goblins then.
Yeah.
They'd have to survive falling damage first.
Nothing would survive the following confusion. Nothing. Maybe us, but none of that.
Maybe us, but nothing.
Like, wait, are we?
All right. Well,
Oh, that
it's
was
time
fun.
for us to sign off, guys. Yep, it's time for us to sign off. You guys, anything you want to say to YouTube before we go?
Well, I mean, I would be totally game to build like a little base of operations in this island, but I'm not gonna follow the goblins to Argentina when we disperse them. If that's what's gonna happen.
All right.
Someone to
Don't
New
cry
Orleans.
for me, Argentina.
All right. So, thank you guys. Thank you, patrons of the Inn of Planar Crossroads, for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us on Facebook, Facebook, Twitter. Let me see. Of course, YouTube and the website, which is you just look for the Inn of Planar Crossroads .com, and you will find us. No problem.
Still under construction right now.
Yes, some things are still under construction. You can still find our what we call our expedition reports, which is our live sessions, our plays, and we're working on some builds and some possibly some deity videos too. So you can keep a watch on those. Otherwise, you can find all those links down in the description below. I guess everyone say bye.
Bye. You
Bye.
live on the internet. There's no fresh water here.
I shall be back.
Bye.
Okay,
I
it's
would-
time.
I request a reading of the loot and experience,
A reading of the loot.
as I must call an Uber.
What kind of
All
dust?
right, reading-
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
So far as the loot, our loot master is ready. All right. You've of course got some soiled goblin type robes from Grisgert. I'm sorry, his name is Gogmert. I've been saying his name wrong the whole time. Gogmert.
It's okay.
Whatever.
Ah well.
Goblin names.
In this dimension, his name is Grisgert.
And
The only
he's a
important
Tengu
goblin is
so.
written of it.
Sounds better than God.
He has a potion of cure light wounds that he never got to use. He's got 2 of them. Those are some resources for y'all. A wand of produce flame with now 33 charges. Wand of tree shape, 4 charges.
Hold on a sec.